Hello, children, and welcome to Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Sorcerer's Stone.
It's Philosopher's Stone. I don't know why the Americans renamed it. That doesn't even make sense. Sorcerers don't even need stones.
There's more Americans watching this than anyone else right now. I guarantee you.
Anyway, you're probably wondering, what the hell am I looking at? I'm looking at a stage. Well, me and DeadBones wanted to co-op a video game together, but we couldn't find a video game.
No.
So I said to DeadBones, what if instead of playing video games, we just read a novel to the children and put on a play?
Put on a lovely little play for the darling little children.
A lovely play.
Lovely play.
So today, from DeadBones and Bruce Willikers, we would like to present Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Sorcerer's Stone.
Chapter 1, The Boy Who Lived. I need you to clap. Clap. Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you.
All right. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal, thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Grunnings, which is quite a stupid name for a drill company, but whatever, which made drills. That seems like not a great business. There's an owl. Why is there an owl? I don't think the owl shows up yet. He was big, beefy man. He was a big, beefy man with hardly any neck. Although he did have a very large mustache. See his mustache, kids? Look at the mustache.
I have a very large mustache.
Said
Oh, by the way, if we ever mess up the character voices, there's so many goddamn characters. These characters are going to be changing voices left and right.
There are a lot. The only consistent ones will probably be Snape and Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's probably
Anyway, Mrs. Dursley was thin and brunette, and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck. Which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences spying on the neighbours, like English people do.
There we go. I made her blonde.
The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion, there was no finer boy anywhere.
Wait, is Dudley in this chapter?
I mean, he's a kid, Rob. He's got to be someone.
What does Dudley look like?
I don't
Is this
know.
Dudley?
Like
Wait, is this Dudley?
I
This
don't
kind of
know.
looks like a Dudley, right?
I don't.
Dudley's a little shit, so this is Dudley probably,
But
right?
he's not fat.
Ah, fuck.
Do you
Which
have?
one is Dudley?
I don't.
I mean, I have a lot of characters. I don't know which one is Dudley.
I don't.
though.
I thought you had a cheat sheet.
Wait, is this Dudley?
No, it's...
Dude, there's so many characters in this book. All right, Dudley. All right, Dudley's got a red shirt. Where is this little shit?
You know he has a red shirt. How do you know he has a red shirt? Are you
Because
reading ahead?
I looked up. I looked up at the file.
Oh, I see.
Here, I found him. All right, here we go. Here's Dudley. He was buried. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Mommy. What, Mommy? Why is my shirt red?
There you have Dudley Dursley. That's a stupid name for a child. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret. And their greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think they could bear it if anyone found out about the Potters.
Oh God! Where's Harry?
Well, you don't need him yet.
Yeah.
Actually, do you have Harry's parents?
What is their names?
Mr. and Mrs. Potter.
Is that really? They don't have first names?
Well, not in this book. Yeah.
James Potter.
Yep, and
Lily Potter.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got it.
All right, we need
there's. Look, my cheat sheet of what characters in the first thing is wrong. Okay.
Well, I mean, I thought the book says that they're there. I thought we should show them because
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. Okay. There's Harry.
We don't need him.
Yeah, we're gonna need him when they say Harry Potter.
Why is he
There's
dancing
a goddamn
across the
book called Harry
stage?
Potter. All right, I got it. We're good.
Okay, we good?
We're good.
All right, where was I? Mrs. Potter was Mrs. Dursley's sister, but they hadn't met for several years. In fact, Mrs. Dursley pretended she didn't even have a sister.
I don't think you exist.
Because her sister and her good-for-nothing husband were as un-Dursley-ish, that's not a word,
Dursley?
as it was possible.
Wait, what does that even mean? If their name is Dursley and they're very un-Dursley, does that mean they're just not true to themselves?
Well, no, it's because the Dursleys they pride themselves on being very normal, you see, Rob. So that means that the Potters are very not normal, so they're un-Dursley-ish.
I don't think that mustache is very normal.
It's a pretty good mustache.
I don't think it's a normal
Can you
mustache.
grow a mustache like that?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Can you cut your hair like that?
Do you mean shave down my back of my head? No. All right, sorry, continue.
I've lost where we were.
This is going to happen a lot.
I have it.
Okay.
The Dursleys shuddered to think what the neighbours would say if the Potters arrived in the street. The Dursleys knew that the Potters had a small son too, but they had never seen him. This boy
Okay, sorry.
This boy was another good reason for keeping the Potters away. They didn't want Dudley mixing with a child like that. When Mr. and Mrs. Dursley woke up on the dull grey Tuesday, our story starts. There was nothing but the cloudy sky outside to suggest the strange, mysterious things would soon be happening all over the country. Mr. Dursley hummed as he picked out his most boring tie for work, and Mrs. Dursley gossiped away happily as she wrestled a screaming Dudley into his high chair. Rob, he's supposed to be a baby.
Well, come on, man. I can't have props for every single one. You gotta use your imagination.
Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna put him in the high chair.
Pretend he's a baby.
Harry Potter will be the chair.
That's a piggyback. That's Harry Potter.
Get in your chair.
Have him be the chair.
I can absolutely have Harry Potter be the chair. I'm working with fine. Harry Potter won't be the chair. The Sorting Hat will be the chair.
Okay, that's fine. The Sorting Hat can be the chair.
Perfect. Get in your chair, Dudley. But, Mummy, I want another pineapple,
said Dudley. None of them noticed a large tawny owl flutter past the window. Very good. Oh my god, timing. At 8:30, Mr. Dursley picked up his briefcase, pecked Mrs. Dursley on the cheek, and tried to kiss...
have to be the briefcase.
Tried to kiss Dudley, but missed, because Dudley was now having a tantrum and throwing his cereal at the wall.
So what did he kiss? That's the Sorting Hat?
Sure, but...
How do you miss a kiss?
Well, when a child is, like, moving left and right, it's hard.
Okay, whoa.
It's your line, Rob.
Oh, I missed. Oh, I have to say something?
You've got a line.
Little tyke!
Chortled Mr. Dursley as he left the house. He got into his car and backed out of number 4's drive.
Where? Which way's the exit of the house?
Whichever. Up. Oh, God, no. Oh, God. All right. It was on the corner of the street that he noticed the first sign of something peculiar. A cat reading a map. First, you have a cat?
Meow.
You have a cat? Oh my god.
Meow.
Cat reading a map. Where the fuck? Where
you stupid cat. You're a cat. You can't read a map.
For a second, Mr. Dursley didn't realize what he had seen. Then he jerked his head around to look again. There was a tabby cat standing on the corner of Privet Drive, but there wasn't a map in sight. What could he have been thinking of? It must have been a trick of the light. Mr. Dursley blinked and stared at the cat. Oh my god. It stared back, and Mr. Dursley drove around the corner up the road. He watched the cat in his mirror. It was now reading the sign that said Privet Drive. No, looking at the sign, because cats can't read, right? Or can they?
Right.
Did the cat just talk?
Meow.
Mr. Dursley gave himself a little shake and put the cat out of his mind. As he drove toward the town, he thought of nothing except a large...
Fuck out of here, cat.
Large order of drills he was hoping to get that day. Oh, this is hard. But on the edge of town, drills were driven out of his mind by something else. As he sat in the usual morning traffic jam, he couldn't help notice that there seemed to be a lot of strangely dressed people about. People in cloaks. Mr. Dursley couldn't bear people who were dressed in funny clothes, which is a very weird term for racism, but it's okay. It's okay. He's fine. It's England. You expect this kind of behavior. The get-ups you saw on young people. He supposed this was some stupid new fashion. He drummed his fingers on the steering wheel, and his eyes fell on a huddle of these weirdos standing quite close by. They were whispering excitedly together. Mr. Dursley was enraged to see that a couple of them weren't young at all. Why, that man had to be older than he was, and wearing an emerald green cloak. Or, a black twilight cloak.
Wait, we'll just pretend this is a man. Totally works.
Okay, that's fine. The nerve of him. The nerve of him. But then it struck Mr. Dursley that this was probably some silly stunt. These people were obviously collecting for something. Yes, that would be it. The traffic moved on, and a few minutes later, Mr. Dursley arrived in front of the Grunnings parking lot, his mind back on drills. I mean drills, really, drills. That's a no, there's no snitch. There's no snitch.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw the snitch.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was paying attention. I saw the snitch, Rob.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. Dursley always sat with his back to the window in his office, on the 9th floor. If he hadn't, he might have found it harder to concentrate on drills that morning.
Let me get the chair.
All right. Yeah, you want some inner monologue from Mr. Dursley? He's thinking about drills. What would he think about drills?
Oh, yeah, I really like the fucking drills. They're so awesome.
Thought Mr. Dursley. He didn't.
Wait, that really says he thinks about drills? What page are we on, 2?
If he hadn't, he might have found it harder to concentrate on drills. He's thinking about drills. He didn't see the owls swooping past in broad daylight. That's an owl. It said owls.
Shit. Here comes the second one.
It's the same owl.
No, it's a different one.
It's the same owl.
Where's the fucking... There's it.
Oh, owls. Okay, there we go. Where was I? Though people down the street did, they pointed and gazed open-mouthed as owl after owl sped overhead, because, I mean, they're birds. We don't see that very often, do we? Most of them had never seen an owl, even at night time. Mr. Dursley, however, had a perfectly normal, owl-free morning. I said evening. He yelled at 5 different people. He made several important telephone calls and shouted...
Fuck you!
And that's his
Screw
wife.
you!
That's his wife.
You're a snake!
That's his wife.
Get out of my way! Learn to drive!
Why? He's not in the car anymore.
Oh, I gotta get out of my car.
That's not his car, that's his office chair.
Oh, back in my office chair. Wait, so he was just screaming at people from his window?
No,
They're just walking by the street?
there's employees.
Oh, he's just screaming at employees.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do that again.
Okay.
You're fired! You're fired!
You can't
Get
use
out
that
of here! Well,
Oh, okay.
you're also fired!
He's so sad about
said
it.
Mr. Dudley.
He was in a very good mood until lunchtime, when he thought he'd stretch his legs and walk across the road and buy himself a bun from the bakery. He'd forgotten...
I'm going to get a bun from the bakery.
Why is his wife still on the screen?
I don't know. There you go.
There you go. Take her off. Consistency, it's important. Where was I? He'd forgotten all about the people in the cloaks until he passed a group of them next to the baker's. He eyed them angrily as he passed. He didn't know why, but they made him uneasy. This bunch were whispering excitedly, too, and he couldn't see a single collecting tin. He was on his way back past them, clutching a large donut in a bag. What's happening?
I was doing a scene change, but I realized I can't move all the guys off the scene.
And we don't have a scene, so whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, he's still walking.
Then he caught a few of the words that they were saying.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
No, that's not what they're saying.
Harry Potter. Well, what words are they saying? Oh, what page am I on? Is this something I gotta say?
Yeah, you're on page 3.
Oh, right.
You should
page
be
3.
up.
Gotcha. Sorry.
Okay.
The Potters. That's right. That's what I heard. Their son, Harry.
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 Yeah, there you go. Mr. Dursley stopped dead. Fear flooded him. He looked back at the whisperers as if he wanted to say something to them, but thought better of it. He dashed back across the road and hurried up to his office, snapped at the secretary not to disturb him.
Don't disturb me, secretary. Okay.
Oh, God.
Can you get in this chair? Okay.
Seized his telephone and almost finished dialing his home number when he changed his mind. He put the receiver back down and stroked his mustache, thinking. No, he was being stupid. Potter wasn't such an unusual name, except it really is an unusual name. He was sure there were lots of people called Potter who had a son called Harry. Come to think of it, he wasn't even sure his nephew was called Harry. He'd never even seen the boy. He might have been Harvey or Harold. There was no point in worrying Mrs. Dursley. She always got so upset at any mention of her sister. He didn't blame her. If he had a sister like that. If he had a sister like that. But all the same, those people in cloaks said Lily Potter.
I'm bringing other people in cloaks. You referenced them again. The cloakers are back.
You're saying every time I say the word people in cloaks, you're going to bring them up?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. He found it a lot harder to concentrate on drills that afternoon, and when he left the building at 5 o'clock, he was still so worried that he walked straight into someone just outside the door. And this is what he said.
It's really hard to think about drills.
That's not what he said.
No, this is my thing. I'm still thinking about drills.
Okay, but now you go outside, Mr. Dursley. It's time for you to
All
go
right,
outside.
going outside.
And you almost bump into someone just outside the door.
Sorry.
He grunted as the tiny old man
Who am I
stumbled.
bumping into?
What?
Who am I bumping into?
It's just a tiny old man.
Okay. Oh, I'll make him tiny. There we go.
And almost fell. It was a few seconds before Mr. Dudley realized that the man was wearing a violet cloak.
Uh-oh.
He didn't seem at all upset at being almost knocked to the ground. On the contrary, his face split into a wide smile, and he said in a squeaky voice that made passerbys stare.
Don't be
Squeaky
sorry.
voice that made passerbys stare.
Don't be sorry, my dear sir, for nothing could be upset me
Why
today.
is Dursley saying this?
Oh. Don't be sorry, my dear sir, for nothing could upset me today. Rejoice, for Voldemort
You
has
know who-
gone at last.
No, don't.
Even muggles like yourself should be celebrating this happy day.
And the old man hugged Mr. Dursley around the middle and walked off. And everybody that was listening forgot that Rob said the words Voldemort, because it's he who shall not be named. So let's keep that together.
No, it's not. I know his name. I'm a muggle. I can say it if I want. Even though it was that other violet cloak guy talking and not me.
Of course. Say Voldemort 3 times, Mr. Dursley.
Voldemort!
Mm-hmm.
Voldemort!
Mm-hmm.
Voldemort! Poof! Holy shit, it worked! Get the fuck out of here! You don't come in until like chapter 8-ish!
Oh. And after that brief encounter with you-know-who, Mr. Dursley stood rooted to the spot. He had been hugged by a complete stranger. He also thought he had been called a muggle. Whatever that was, probably something rather racist.
See that? You see this?
What? Yes?
He's rooted.
Mr. Dursley stood rooted to the spot. He had been hugged by a complete stranger. He also thought he had been called a muggle. Whatever that was, he was rattled. He hurried to his car and set off for home, hoping he was imagining things, which he had never hoped before because he didn't approve of imagination. Because these people are English. What do you expect? Okay. As he pulled into the driveway of number 4, the first thing he saw, and it did not improve his mood, was the tabby cat he'd spotted that morning. It was now sitting on his garden wall. That's an owl.
Meow.
Very good. He was sure it was the same one. It had the same markings around its eyes.
I don't know, the last one looked like an owl.
But that's not your line,
Oh. Shoo!
said Mr. Dursley loudly.
Oh, sorry. Shoo!
Said Mr. Dursley loudly. The cat didn't even move. It just gave him a... cat didn't even move. It just gave him a stern look. Was this normal cat behavior? Mr. Dursley wondered. Trying to pull himself together, he let himself into the house. He was still determined not to mention anything to his wife. Okay.
Holy shit, you're not gonna believe this shit I saw. I mean... Nothing, dear.
Mrs. Dursley had a nice, normal day. She told him over dinner all about Mrs. Next Door's problems with her daughter and how Dudley had learned a new word, won't. Mr. Dursley tried to act normally. When Dudley had been put to bed, he went into the living room in time to catch the last report on the evening news.
Let me get the TV.
Okay, get the TV. That's not a TV.
Well, just go with it.
No, that's a mirror.
No, just go
No,
with
that's
it.
that's the mirror.
Let me get the news reporter.
That's-
There we
can't-
go.
That's...
You gotta use your imagination. I don't have a fucking prop. Do you know how many props we already have? We have 67 goddamn props for this play.
We need more.
Okay.
Anyway, the evening news.
And finally, bird watchers everywhere have reported that the nation's owls, Woo, there goes one by, Sam. The ancient owls have been behaving very unusual today. Although owls normally hunt at night. Woo, oh, help, I'm being hunted. Oh, wait, you're watching the news. You can't be hunted. Although owls normally hunt at night and are hardly ever seen in the daylight except at zoos, where you can go see the owls at any time, there have been hundreds of sightings of these birds flying in every direction except north since sunrise. Experts are unable to explain why the owls suddenly changed their sleeping patterns.
The newscaster allowed himself a grin.
Did he wink?
No, he just allowed himself a grin. That means he smirked. He's a scumbag. He smirked.
There we go. Do I have anything to make him grin?
No.
Okay, continue.
Wait, turn him upside down. Can you turn him upside down?
Not really.
Well, then you... Anyway, that's you. You have to keep talking.
Oh,
Most mysterious.
Most mysterious. And now over to Jim McGruffin with the weather. Yeah,
No,
wait.
What?
Wait.
Yep.
Wait.
No, he had a line before Jim.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find Jim. Which one's going to be able to stand in front of the mirror? Because I don't have... there we go. Got one. Jim. And now over to Jim... Sorry. And now over to Jim McGruffin with the weather. Going to be any showers of owls tonight, Jim? Well, Ted, we're going to have... Oh, I had a story to tell.
You've got more lines.
I don't know about that, but it's not only owls that have been acting oddly today. Viewers apart as Kent, Yorkshire, Mookbar, Washington, D.C., and Dundee have been phoning in to tell me that instead of rain I promised yesterday, there's been a downpour of shootings. Lots of people getting shot in Yorkshire.
Shooting stars.
Shooting stars. Sorry. Shooting stars. Perhaps people have been celebrating bonfire night early. It's not until next week, folks. Man, I'm a shitty weatherman. I haven't talked about any parts of the weather. I'm just talking about recent events. So tomorrow, we're going to see a slight snowstorm. Wait, what month of the year is it?
I don't know.
Tomorrow, we're not probably going to see snow since I already said it was raining yesterday. Anyway, folks, I can promise it's going to be a very wet night tonight, if you know what I mean, because I'm going to go see Mrs. Ted.
And that's why they say TV rots your brain, kids. Anyway, Mr. Dursley sat frozen in his armchair. Shooting stars all over Britain, owls flying by daylight, mysterious people in cloaks all over the place, and a whisper about the Potters. Mrs. Dursley came into the living room carrying 2 cups of tea.
Oh, shit, I'm not in here yet.
No, you're not.
Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Very good. You get a cookie. He'd have to say something to her. He cleared his throat nervously. and said...
Petunia, dear, haven't you heard from your sister lately, have you?
As he had expected, Miss Dursley looked shocked and mad angry. After all, they normally pretended she didn't have a sister.
No!
She said sharply.
Why do you ask, Dudley?
His name's Dursley. Wait, is his name Dudley? No, his name's Vernon.
Vernon?
There you go.
Funny stuff on the news.
Mr. Dursley mumbled.
Owls, shootings,
stars.
And there was a lot of funny-looking people in town today. So...
snapped Mrs. Dursley.
Well, you know, I was just having a little thinking, what the fuck are you doing? I was just thinking maybe it was something to do with, you know, your sister.
No, that's not the word. Say the word.
Her crown.
There you go, you racist bastard. Mrs. Dursley sipped her tea through pursed lips. Mr. Dursley wondered whether he dared tell her he'd heard the name Potter. He decided he didn't dare. Instead, he said as casually as he could,
you know, their son, he's about Dudley's age now, isn't he? I suppose, it's my line, I suppose so,
said Mrs. Dursley stiffly.
Yeah, that kid, what's his name? It was, Stephen, or Harry Potter, or Howard, right? Oh, no, it was Harry. Harry Nasty.
No.
Common name, if you ask me. That's what it fucking says in the book.
It says Harry Nasty, common name, if you ask me.
His name was Harry Nasty.
No.
A common name, if you ask me.
Harry Nasty, common name, if you ask me.
I'm reading exactly what's on the page.
You're not reading.
His name is Harry Nasty.
We're going to have grammar Nazis all over these videos. Please, just say the line.
Harry. A nasty common name, if you ask me.
Thank you, Mrs. Dursley.
Oh, yes,
said Mr. Dudley, his heart sinking horribly.
Yes, I quite agree that name really sucks,
said Mr. Dursley. He didn't say another word on the subject as they went upstairs to bed. While Mrs. Dursley was in the bath.
Oh, yeah. Can we do this scene?
While Mrs. While Mrs. Dursley was in the bathroom, so she's not in the scene.
Oh, damn it.
Mr. Dursley crept to the bedroom window and peered down into the front garden. The cat was still there. Cat. 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 There you go. The cat. No, he's at the window. Yes, there you go.
Yeah, he's upstairs.
I know. I can see.
Look, he's standing on his house.
The cat was the television.
He's looking through the window. There you go.
That's the television.
No, it looks like it's through a window now.
Okay. The cat was still there. It was staring down Privet Drive as though it were waiting for something. Was he imagining things? Could all this have something to do with the Potters? If it did, if it got out that they were related to a pair of... Well, he didn't think he could bear it. The Dursleys got into bed. Change the scene, please. There you go. Now you get your scene that you want.
Cue the romance music.
But Mrs. Dursley fell asleep quickly.
Oh, fucking...
But Mr. Dursley lay awake, turning it all over in his mind. His last comforting thought before he fell asleep was that even if the Potters were involved, there was no reason for them to come near him and Mrs. Dursley. The Potters knew very well that he and Petunia thought about them and their kind. You know the kind. I'm not going to mention any names here, but you know what I'm talking about.
Muggles!
Sure. That's our word. You can't use it. He couldn't see how he and Petunia could get mixed up in anything that might be going on. He yawned and turned over. It couldn't affect them. Yawn.
Yawn!
No, yawn. How very wrong he was.
Clapping. And scene.
Yay!